Hey everybody, so in this video today, I'm going to be breaking down the difference between a school-based OT and a private-based OT, especially if you are a parent and your child is getting ready to transition into the school program and they may possibly even have an IEP set up. It's important to know what that school-based OT can cover and what they necessarily cannot cover. So let's start with the school-based OT. So when it comes to the school-based OT, there are plenty of areas that they can cover. However, these areas have to be related to that child's academic success. So if an area that you want to be addressed is not necessarily related to their school success, then that OT may not be able to address it. So one of the things that a school-based OT may address is your child's fine motor skills as it relates to their academic skills. So for example, handwriting. Handwriting is a really big deal when it comes to school, when it comes to learning, and it's one thing that is taught, when a child first enters school. So they're learning how to write their name, write letters, write numbers. And so if your child is having a lot of trouble with that concept, then that's where the school-based OT may come in and assist your child with that. The school-based OT may also help with other fine motor skills such as manipulation of classroom supplies and materials such as scissors, because scissors are used to do a lot of things in the classroom, whether that's just learning how to cut different shapes or participating in different crafts. Another area that a school-based OT may assist your child with is their attention, because obviously your child needs to have focus and attention if they're going to be following through with the instructions of the teacher in the classroom. And so if your child is one that loses focus easily or is distracted easily or may have a lot of sensory things going on that makes it hard for them to attend, the school-based OT can also assist your child with that as well. Another huge area that school-based OTs may address with your child is executive functioning skills. So executive functioning skills are things like being able to plan, being able to manage your time, being able to transition from one thing to the next. And so if your child is one, for example, that has a lot of trouble keeping things organized, or they can't necessarily find things in their backpack, or their desk or their folder is always messy, or things are always missing, the school-based OT can intervene and try to assist your child with some of those executive functioning skills to help them be successful in the classroom setting. And another area that a school-based OT may really focus on and address is helping your child with their regulation, because obviously in the classroom setting, the child is constantly bouncing around between activities and engaging with their peers. Sometimes things don't go as planned, or sometimes the child may be easily set off or get mad about things, and they need to learn how to cope with those emotions in that classroom setting. So that could potentially also be another area that the school-based OT may assist with. So if you are a parent and your child is getting ready to transition into the school system, but you do have some concerns about how your child is learning and maybe about their attention and their motor skills and their emotions, it may be best to get your child evaluated for a school-based evaluation to see what services they would qualify for. But it's good to remember that there are certain skills that the school-based OT can focus on, but it's only if it relates to that child's academic success. Now, on the other side of that, private-based OT can actually focus on things in a lot broader and a lot more general sense. So while private-based OTs can also focus on attention, regulation, executive functioning, and all those skills mentioned that a school-based OT can, the private-based OT is going to focus on those areas as it relates to the child's life kind of outside of the classroom and outside of school, and basically help them with their daily life. So for example, a private-based OT may help your child with their dressing skills. They may help your child with their self-feeding or toileting or just daily hygiene, toothbrushing. So just those daily self-help skills is something that a private-based OT can assist with. Another thing that a private-based OT may be able to assist your child with is things like social skills, like taking turns and sharing, especially when it's involved in the household setting, maybe with siblings or including you as the parents into their play, or even in the community. Let's say the child is going to the park or the child is going to the library and the child needs to work on some of those more like social skills, then the private-based OT may be able to assist with that as well. Now, the private-based OT can also assist a little bit deeper with those emotions and that emotional regulation piece as it relates to things that go on outside of the classroom. So let's say that child has a really hard time with transitioning at home between different routines throughout their day. So let's say that bedtime or going to bed or making that transition to bedtime is really hard. The private-based OT can assist your child with learning some strategies and techniques to help that transition to bed be a lot smoother. So that is another example of what the private-based OT may assist your child with. Another big area that the private-based OT may assist your child with is that sensory integration. Now, sensory can be so many different things, right? It could be how your child reacts to different types of movement, how your child reacts to different types of smells, how your child reacts to different types of textures, and just the list can go on. Basically, how your child responds to different types of sensory stimuli or sensory stimulation in their everyday environment. So if your child is one that is super sensitive to loud noises, or they're super sensitive to different types of movement, or they just have different quirks when it comes to their balance and coordination and body awareness, these are all broader things that a private-based OT may focus on with your child. Another thing that private-based OTs may work on with your child are things such as their body awareness, their coordination, their upper body strength, their core strength. All of those things can impede and impact your child's ability to engage with their everyday daily routines in the household and community setting. So the list can go on and on and on about what the private-based OT can address, but I just wanted to clear up the difference because I have had situations happen where sometimes the parents get really frustrated because the school-based OT is not addressing something that in reality they can't really address because it's not related to that child's academic success. So it's important to know the difference. And so when you are meeting your child's school OT, just kind of review what your concerns are and see what it is that they can address, and anything that's like above and beyond or extra outside of the academic realm, you may need to find a private OT to kind of substitute and help with other areas that your child may be having some trouble in. So guys, I hope you have a better understanding of the difference between a school-based OT and a private-based OT. If you have any more questions about the difference, leave that in the comments below and I will do my best to respond to you all as soon as I possibly can. So thank you guys for tuning in, and until the next one, bye.